Hey guys, I wanted to give you all feedback. I know you guys have posted your rough drafts, and I'm going to give you overall feedback, and I'm going to show you another paper and walk you through it. And so I hope that everybody watches this and can take this and apply it to the next paper. So if you need to pause this to take notes, then take notes. This is going to be a pretty important lesson. First, I want to start with where the directions are. It says on the home page, the nuts and bolts of paper 2. That's where the directions are. This one is going to be worth 200 points. The way that the point values works for this is if you don't pass this paper, then you can't pass the class. Here are what your sources: 7 sources. You may have more. 1 website, 1 book, 1 article from a database, and 1 interview are the starting points. Those are the basic 4. That is exactly what you are required to have for paper 1. The other 3 can be anything that you choose. However, you can only have 1 more website, and you cannot use another interview. So let me sum that up for you. All 4 of those: website, book, article, database, article from a database, and an interview. Those are your 4 starting points. You can have more. You have to have 7. You cannot have more than 2 websites, and you're only allowed to have 1 interview. Everything else is the same. The format, all of that is the same. There's a lot of things that a lot of you are still doing in your paper that it's going to have to be fixed before you can pass this paper. Paper 1 was somewhat of a pre-paper, so let me talk to you about some things that you have to do. Your in-text citations in parentheses, they go at the end of each sentence. You do not put the author and the title. You put one or the other in the page number. I'm going to show you an example here in a minute, so I'm not going to go over that too much in depth right here. But your works cited, it goes in alphabetical order. It's double spaced. It has to have a hanging indent. Just putting the website will not cut it. You have to have proper format with this essay. This right here is, even though we spent more time on paper 1, it's because we were learning everything. Gotta adjust here. Because we were learning everything, and it was all new, and so we don't need to redo all of those things. So let me show you some things here. And I know I've done this before, but I can just tell that there are a lot of you not doing this. So, Al Purdue, this is your textbook, this is your go-to guide, and you can find everything here. If you're wondering about how to cite anything, it's right here. It will even show you a sample works cited page. It even if you go back here, it tells you how to do it. The hanging indent, the double spacing. If you go here to electronic sources, you will clearly see that there's a lot more to it than just putting the website. So just make sure that you're going through this and really looking at that won't let me in. And looking at the rules here of how to properly format your paper. I don't know why it's not letting me look at the sample paper. I'm about to show you a sample paper, but you don't need that. You have everything you need to right here. It talks about how to do the in-text citations. If you go to the basics, it tells you exactly how to do it. You'll see author page number, and so this right here, it's italicized because that's a book. It's in quotations if it's a shorter work. So all of these things, it shows you exactly how to do it. In-text citation for this, in-text citation for this. And so this is a really pretty easy site to navigate. So just make sure that you're going in there and doing that. So now your first paper was a lot shorter. So I'm going to go to this sample paper here. And Ashley in our class has been generous enough to let us look at this paper. So what I want to point out is the word count. Right here we have 945 words. We have an intro, clear thesis map, paragraph A, good length, paragraph B, good length, paragraph C, good length, conclusion, and a good works cited page. Now your word count does not include all of this. So it takes it 945 words. Now it's down 100 words. So, so what you need to do is consider having 2 paragraphs per point. So think about what your A is, and think about, are there 2 directions that you could go with for this? So think about when you do an outline and you have different points under it. Apply that to this. So you'll have an A, and then what would be 2 subpoints under your A so that you could have 2 paragraphs here. Because if you structure it and it's similar to the last one, you'll be short. The way that I have to grade it is if you write 50% of the paper, I have to start you out at 50% of the grade. Therefore, you're not passing it. So you're going to have to make sure that you are making it lengthy enough. And if this paragraph right here, this is a really good length for a paragraph. If this paragraph length were doubled, then it would be too long of a paragraph. So that's why I say you need the 2 paragraphs per point. So I want to come back here and look at the format. We have a heading double spaced. We have a title. There's no extra space. There's no quotations around it. The R is capitalized, the I, the A, the F, the G, all capitalized. The way that she's using her sources are varied up. Author, this author said, and we have a shortened version of the title in quotation marks with page number 1. Good. We come down here. The interview. In an interview with an elementary school principal. Good. She states that. Direct quote. Ferris. Again, that's exactly how you do a direct quote. Last name, page number. This is what I mean when I say varying up how the sources are being used. 1, they're not just direct quotes. We have paraphrasing, we have summarizing, and we have quotations. We also have a variation of how they're being used. So up above here, we just have the last name and the page number. And then right below it, the next time, is the author. The author, she writes, and then the title of the book in the parentheses, in italics, and then the page number. That's good. That's varying up the sources. In a survey, then we have the title, quotations, page number. So that's what I mean when I say vary up how you use your sources, because this is a very strong example of that. When we get down to the works cited, it's in alphabetical order. We have the interview correctly done. We have title. We have all of the things in order. All of the elements are there. If you look here, like this is a website, but I'm still seeing things like this. This is 100% incorrect. This is correct. So what this honestly shows me when I look at this is that when she was going through this, that she went to something to check herself and put everything in order as it was told to her to put in order, and that made it correct. So it's really not that. I know it sounds difficult, and I know it can be overwhelming, but if you check yourself with the Al Purdue website, if you come back to this video and look, it's at the end of each one we have parentheses, end of each one, parentheses, and you vary up how you use it, and you rely on the author and the title, then it's a lot easier than a lot of people really think that it is. Don't overthink it. So again, I'm just going to say it one more time, that you will need 2 paragraphs per point. Now let's say that you have, and sometimes you even need 2 paragraphs per for your intro, possibly. Everything that you did in paper 1 is going to have to be doubled for paper 2, or you won't meet the word requirement. So you might need 2 paragraphs for your intro. You might need to have a paragraph to define what it is you're talking about, to give a history of it. Then you might need a paragraph to tell us where the issue started. So define it, history, timeline. Another paragraph to tell us where did the problem start, what is the actual issue at hand, and then your thesis paragraph that says, here's my thesis, here's my map, ABC. Then you'll go to your A, 2 paragraphs. But then your B, maybe you are doing really well with your length, and maybe you have 2 paragraphs for A, 1 for B, and 2 for C, that would work. But you're going to have to put a lot more thought into, and I'm not saying you're not thinking, that's not what I'm saying, but just a lot more critical thinking on how to organize this paper. So one, you're really proving your thesis. This is the side that you really wanted to do. This is what you really feel. So you really want your audience to change their minds if they don't agree with you. And so you're going to have to provide them with enough factual information to win them over and to prove your thesis and to win the argument. So a paper of, with 900 words, it won't fully do that to the extent that you will need it to for a 2,000 word research paper. I know that this is a lot of work, but if you guys hang in there and you knock this essay out, I guarantee you the next half of this semester, can you believe it? Like, we're really close to being halfway done with this semester. That's crazy. Like a week from now. Maybe 2. Anyways, we're really close. Maybe 2 weeks. The second half of this semester is nowhere near this at all. You're going to be like, what? This is all I have to do? It's super easy. But we'll talk more about that when we get there. I know this is a long video. I'm going to end it here. So think on it, and then we'll go from there.